What is going on, YouTube, y'all squad? This your boy Yocrates. This is your review for Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. This is season 3, episode 6. I will just say that I'm glad this ended on a light note and we did not have to deal with this tequila for another episode. Because I'm gonna say this though, especially for those who watch Potomac and my reviews. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If Giselle comes back in a full castmate capacity, I'm not. Well, one, it's really hard to. Well, I wasn't really featuring her then because she really had no storyline. But whatever storyline she has, even if it's authentic, I'm more than likely paying it does just based off of her actions on this show, and she even showed a little bit of her tail on this episode. But anyway, we pick up where we left off. Pepsi in his confessional. And he says he loves to see people together, and right now he just doesn't see a solution for this whole entire thing. Bro, this is just Housewives, unfortunately. So later that night, Pepsi gets the girls together, and not gets them together, but like has them, sit down, and he wants to talk to them, and he lets them know that he's not happy, and he lets them know like y'all yell, y'all fight, and then afterwards it's like y'all act as if nothing happened. He doesn't care about the real or the fake. And you got Portia, playing pretend like she's in a congregation and bigging up the past and whatnot, which is cute, it's fun, but he's actually having like a real serious moment. And when you do stuff like that, you take away from the moment that he's having. It's almost like you don't want to truly hear the message and let it like marinate in your spirit. Pepsi says everything that he does is not fake, it's from his heart. Candace apologizes for yelling right outside. Not when she was at the restaurant, but when her and, Cankles got into it. She apologizes for that, right? Cankles go say to Portia, she ain't apologizing for fighting. Well, first and foremost, never mind, not doing it. And then says he don't live here. He don't own this house. He getting the check, being so nasty, so dismissive. Look, okay. It's official. I don't see it for her at all. Even if this is a caricature of herself and this is just something that she's playing out, I can't do it. I can't do it. And typically, with the Ultimate Girls Trip, you get to see a more authentic version of the Housewives because most of them they have a role that they play on their show, i.e., like with Kenya. I always knew Kenya, was cool people. It's just she plays the villain, and I'm glad she gave it up for this past episode and hope or season. I hope this season she fades into the background and let somebody else do it. But nevertheless, people got a chance to see like, oh, okay, on this housewife, she's really not that bad. And if you pay attention to what people on Atlanta say, a lot of people say like, oh, when the camera's down, oh, she mad cool, you feel me? But I don't get that from Cankles. And like I said, season, what was it, 7? Yeah, season 7 of Potomac left a bad taste in my mouth, and this has not in any way, shape, form, or fashion helped. Oh, great! I got a message in my thing. All right, let's see. Leah is giving a tearful, thank you to Pepsi because when she, failed, well, I guess collapsed on the ground and whatnot, and sweat profusely and all other stuff that she was like, I heard your voice, this, that, and the third, and then as she's talking, Portia cuts her off and says to Pepsi, we didn't mean to disrespect you, and then Heather is trying to tell her like Leah was having a moment, and she was like, oh, I didn't hear her. First and foremost, you can't tell me that you couldn't hear her. It's that you weren't trying to hear her and you don't value her opinion or what she has to say and being very dismissive. Again, very, very nasty. And for those of y'all who like Portia, her spinoff show, if her on Atlanta didn't show you who she was, her spinoff should have showed you who she was. So this ain't nothing new. Pepsi says, he's always there besides them and he loves them. And it was cute. So now they break to pretty much do a mixology. So, cocktails, this is Marisol's thing. The first, now, Now the word is cocktail. I'm gonna say rock, okay, in place of that word because since it being so rocktail, we gonna say rock. Okay, the first one was a stiff rock. I'm like, wait, I think that was truly Marisol. Was that truly Marisol? It don't matter. That was the first one. And then they say that Leah was going to have the limp rock, because she, doesn't drink, so that one, and I mean it was funny, okay. And then there was the, I guess I don't want to say the P, so replace the C with the P, but the corn star. And then Pepsi's silly self gonna say, "Who wants to be my corn star?" And then Giselle volunteers. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this with y'all. But I'm glad that Pepsi was able to kind of like, just say his piece and, try to, move along. He got it off his chest. We good. Marisol vision for, just the night is ultimately just paying homage to her mother. So not necessarily with the meal, but with the atmosphere and, and just, yeah, pretty much just the atmosphere, how everything was going along and hoping that, the essence, the spirit of her mother, touches everybody and everybody be good. Whitney says that if she doesn't end up in the pool naked by the end of the night, it ain't good. It was a failure. Alexia says if Heather doesn't end the night with a black eye, it's something out. And again, this is all fun, he ha ha, but I wouldn't have found that to be funny. Like, let me say that. You don't, and then you not from my city either. But again, it's Heather. She wasn't going to say nothing. We're going to move on. So Giselle takes over the dinner portion of it, obviously. And because she wanted Leah to ask Portia about, not liking her. And on some real, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I really feel like we really could have dealt without that at this particular dinner. Like even the, excuse me, even though, oh my lord, that it kind of ended well. It's just we really didn't need, like, we could have just had a whole feel good episode and everything would have been GTG. But nevertheless, Portia says she doesn't like Leah because she's not her type of chick or vibe. Leah says she feels the same way and doesn't care. Giselle challenges that, like, oh, so you don't care. And Leah says, look, we talked about the whole social media thing at the animal sanctuary. And even though this is not cyberbullying, she said, is it cyberbullying? No, but it's a clear message, which is different than what you, Portia, was putting out there about this being a safe space and hearing people's story and all of this other stuff. And here's the other part. Again, did I feel that it's bullying? No, of the not tagging Leah and, Portia not tagging Leah and Candace in the picture. Can it lead to cyberbullying? Yes, it most definitely can. And when it popped off, when it happened, what happened? You had the blogs and everybody speculating on that. The funny thing is, didn't nobody care about Leah not being tagged. It was people caring that Candace wasn't tagged. So, and again, that happened. So you had a lot of people going in on Candace thinking that, oh, this was Candace's fault. Candace a problem. Boop, wop, boop, wop, bam. So then Portia responds, instead of poor Leah, I'm just gonna say Leah bye. Which I'm just like, yeah, that was good shade. That was a great read. Yeah, you're definitely from Atlanta. And then what's her name? Come on, y'all. Leah's like, okay, well, Portia bye. And they do that a couple times. And then Portia tells her she hasn't even been a part of the group since she got there. You're trying to create a I was there moment. I was there because I argued with Portia. Portia this, Portia that. You haven't done anything since you've been here. You're tired. And I'm like, eh. But it's funny how you're making all this about you. But again, we always gotta. People love to start in the middle and at the end, but let's start at the beginning. You and Leah, Portia, only had an issue because you decided that you wanted to sit here and cater for Giselle. That's what that is. Like, had you just said that agent food to manage your business, it wouldn't have been all of this. But whatever. So Leah says that, she converses with, the Salt Lake City girls and Candace, like, and that's cool, just is what it is. I'm not going to say what Alexa said because it don't really matter because she be full of it. Whitney gives advice to Leah saying that she does do a lot of complaining and whatnot, so it may present itself a certain way. Like you may be trying to give a certain vibe, but not realizing that you're actually giving a different vibe. Okay, cool. So Leah says, okay, well look, my mother was a therapist, and I'm just expressive because of that. I'ma let it slide. I mean, I felt like it was a little bit of trying to use it as a deflection, but I'ma let it go. Portia says she ain't the only one here that vibes with one person and doesn't vibe with another. And Marisol says, big ups Heather for trying to learn Espanol while they've been on this trip. But then says to Candace, like, when we're talking to you like on a one-on-one type of situation on the tip, like you're mad cool, but then when we get in the group, it's something totally different, and then you're loud, this and there. And Candace says real politely, "So I'm the loudest one." I'm the loudest one. Ain't even get loud. And I'm like, good, Candace, stay right here. And then Marisol, hold on, wait. So then Marisol says, is Candace the loudest one? Hands. So you got the Miami girls to raise their hand. Of course, Portia raised her hand. And then Marisol gonna say, so Heather, really? And I'm just like, oh, Heather, you are such a damn follow. Like, I'm like, okay, all right. So she raises her hand. And then Portia wants Candace to ask. And Candace says, no, because the group is up your fourth point of contact. So why would I ask? Like, I'm not going to ask a question because everybody is. Because in essence, people either want to be, on her team or they're afraid of her or whatever. And I'm gonna keep the butt. Part of me slightly feels that Candace also wanted to, be somewhat cool with Portia because again, Atlanta, I mean, like that right there is the standard, point blank, period. But I mean, it just is what it is. But again, that she has her issues based off of proximity of who Portia was friends with and capable for. So whatever. So Heather is asked, and she says, one person, that gave her automatic shade was Giselle, and Giselle said, it's not that I don't like you, but I can't trust what you've been saying. Now, Candace says to Leah, who is sitting across the table from her, that Heather was going off in the van, and she's hoping that, Heather will give that same energy to Giselle. Now, we get a little light. We ain't get all of it, but we got a little light. Because Heather tells Giselle that, maybe you can't get a read on me because you're not open to it. I feel like when you said that I'm the number one suspect, I want to throw my soup in your face and flip the table like I'm done. I'm not going to prove I am here with good intentions. Now, what Heather could have also done is put her business and her bank account on the table and be like, and let's be clear, I have a business that did not get liquidated. Okay, and my business is still thriving. I have multiple locations. Okay, each business is bringing in this much. Do you want to see my bank account? Baby, I have enough to where I can buy out the whole liquor store. I don't need your see. That's the energy that Heather should have came out with. But she gave her a little light, so it's okay. Then Giselle says there's 2 more days and maybe we can fix it if you're open to that and we can have a do-over. Whatever. Heather and Whitney at the end of the night, they embrace each other and they have a moment in the rain and then jump into the pool with their mics on, so they're going to have to pay for the mics. And then some of the other women join them in the pool, Candace, the Miami women, and Leah, and then the pool girls end up doing a group confessional. The next morning, Pepsi and Giselle, okay, that doesn't really matter. They were just going over the itinerary. But for that, so the night activity, that's going to be Whitney's whole thing. And I guess she wanted to have some eggplants there. Y'all read it because I didn't write it on the first page, but was it a trike? Trantric event. But she forgot to bring some eggplants and was like, saying to the Miami girls, I don't know if I should ask Pepsi and how he would react to that. Don't know how he would. Leah had to break away from the girls at the table because she had to go throw up, but she couldn't throw up. She was dry heaving. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. And it sucked because she was even saying that she drank water and couldn't throw that up. And that is a trick where because I had food poisoning bad one time and I threw all that up and I was just sitting there dry heaving like a son. So I'm literally having to hurry up, chug water just so I can throw it back up because my body trying to throw a bile and what isn't even in my stomach, and I know that feeling. I do. I felt bad for her. The doctor tell her that her BP and her oxygen was good. She wants to, go to the hospital to make sure that she's fine. Candace is the only one that was checking up on her. And then we find out that the temple, because the temple event is going first, and then um, Whitney's going to have her event last, but Leah was supposed to be leading the temple one, but Pepsi got it. So at the temple, I want to say the temple was gorgeous. I was in awe. Oh my lord! And the ceremony itself was beautiful. It was one of those things that I enjoyed, and I'm glad that everybody, for the most part, was open to it. And also, if you aren't open, like, because this does happen where people may not be open to other cultures. So rather just saying, you know what, respectfully, I'm just going to bow out. Some, especially those that are African American, will sit here and have a whole fit because it doesn't allow, with their religion, their faith, or whatever. So I'm glad we didn't get none of that. So the girls are on their way out to pull cards, and the cards have numbers on it, and Pepsi will pretty much, I guess, read what that was supposed to be, almost like a fortune. So the funny thing is, Giselle and not Candace, Portia had not so favorable ones. So Giselle was, your future man is always gonna be broke. But here's the thing, she ain't never with nobody, so who cares? Heather is pretty much you're lucky for your children. Marisol, business is good. Family, whoever comes to you, that's going to be good. Alexia, in the future, if you think good, you will get good. Whitney, you have a lot of supporters, people, to help you. Candace, you are alone in the ocean, but you are a fighter. Candace was appreciative of that. And then Portia, he said, not good. You have a problem with lesbian. I don't know what that means. But I'm going to just leave it there. But if y'all done watched Atlanta, look, the jokes write themselves, so we going to keep it pushing. So back at the house, Candace checks in on Leah via FaceTime because Leah's still in the hospital, but the phone freezes because Leah was even saying, like, had the roles been reversed, and then it was pretty much like a drop call. And Candace like, left on a cliffhanger. So it's Whitney's night or event. It's tantric. Pepsi gives some of the girls his drink, and it's called Sticky in My Hands. I'm like, Pepsi, sit down, sit your down, sir. So they do a tantric food tasting. There's sex talk. Whitney talks about being a sexual person and how on her season she pretty much had a romantic body painting thing with her husband, and it was that scene that had caused him to lose his job. And she was like, it was very cringe, but it caused him to lose his job as she thought about quitting, same moment. And then he had to remind her that Whitney said to him that she would retire him in 5 years, ma'am. Ma'am. I'm going to just let it go. But ladies, don't do it. Don't do it, okay? But anyway, do you, boo-boo. Portia then brings up, housewives all the times have, cringy moments where you have one person, doing like a lap dance on their man, others getting in the bathtub with them. So there's a lot of cringy moments that happen. Whitney informs them that, she's made more this year than her husband made last year. Kudos to her. But look, he done lost his job, so you gotta work. You to empty out your savings for your cosmetic company, so you have to make this thing work. It ain't no turning back. So they have the pole dancers out there. They also give them instructions. Obviously, Whitney know what she was doing. Candace and Whitney are in the confessional, blazing up. And then it ends with Whitney going into the kitchen. Now, Portia was in there earlier, and she had KFC. Whitney did grab the the um the a small container that had the mashed potatoes and gravy. She took a spoon and just eating directly from that. I'm glad she took it with her because I was gonna be like, that is nasty if you put that back. And then grabbed a whole drum and then went outside to eat that. Then got on the floaty in the pool and ended up falling over in the pool. So like I said, this ended well, and I was happy for it. It was great. I'm glad that it ended this way because, like I said, last episode really blew me. And I also forgot to say, part of the reason that I felt like Pepsi was probably going through it at the end of last episode, beginning of this episode, is because if they weren't able to find about it, we haven't heard anything else from it. So either they did find it, or they'll probably find it before the end of the this season. But if it's not found, then okay, well, if the girls don't have it, then guess who's to blame now? It won't be production; it's going to be the staff. And now that's a blemish on them, and it could be all type of repercussions there. And I think that might have been a reason, in addition to all the bickering, why this was just so much, and it's just like he really didn't have the answer for it. But I'm glad that he was in good spirits this episode. So that is all that I have. Thank you all so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And meet me back here next Thursday for, the next review. All right, y'all. Peace out.